What does the name Trail of Tears refer to? This journey is a cultural memory known as the Trail Where They Cried, because of the Native American tribes that were removed from their territory, an estimated of 4,000 died, some waiting for the immigration in camps and some others during the trail. This term invokes the collective suffering those people experienced. When did it start and how long did it last? It started in 1831 with the removal of the Choctaw tribe and ended with the removal of the Cherokee tribe in 1838. It was actually a long and painful process.
Who were the people in charge of the Exodus? In May 28, 1830, the Congress of the United States passed the Indian Removal Act, and President Andrew Jackson didn't hesitate and signed it.
How did the government get hold of the territories? Basically, the Cherokees went to the court against Georgia because this state wanted to take their land. But it was illegal since the Cherokees had a treaty with the United States. Of course, Georgia had its arguments about why they had authority over their territory. And when the Indians claimed they were an independent nation, the court rejected the Indians' arguments. While all of this was happening, the state of Georgia arrested Samuel Worcester, who was a Congregationalist minister, for violating a law of Georgia that required white people a license to enter in Indian lands. So, with the finance of the Cherokees, Worcester sued for his real estate, stating that Georgia was violating the Cherokee treaties with the United States. Also, the Indians state that those treaties were inviolable contracts. So, it happened. Worcester versus Georgia, where the Supreme Court stated that the Cherokee Nation was a distinct community occupying its own territory with boundaries accurately described, which the citizens of Georgia had no right to enter, and Worcester won. But of course, things did not stay this way. The president, Andrew Jackson, had Georgia's back, and sooner than later, the removal of the Indians by force from the territory began. The Indian Removal Act. The act authorized the president to grant Indian tribes unsettled lands west of the Mississippi in exchange for their territories, especially in the southeast, and the tribes will be removed. The fast settlement of white men to the east of the Mississippi River made clear that they will not tolerate the presence of Indians there.
One of the most important events affecting the natives done by the government was the Sand Creek Massacre. In November 29, 1864, the Sand Creek Massacre took place, becoming one of the most famous incidents of Indian wars. What happened was that starting the 1850s, the Golden Rush, a time when the white people discovered gold in Indian territory and invaded, brought thousands of white settlers to the Rocky Points, where the Cheyenne and the Arapahoes lived, and this just pushed their limits and injured them. In response, they started attacking wagon trains and mining camps. Knowing this, Territorial Governor John Evans sent Colonel John Chivington, who wanted to quiet the Indians. And in the spring of 1864, the colonel started attacking the Indians and villages without any mercy. After a while, the Cheyenne and Arapaho were ready for peace. Their leaders met with Colonel John on September 28, 1864, and after this, they thought everything was in peace again. But Colonel John received a telegram from his superior, General Samuel Curtis, where he stated, "I want no peace till the Indians suffer more. No peace must be made without my directions." Believing the peace was made, Black Kettle, the chief of the Cheyenne, and another 515 Indians started moving their camps towards the Sand Creek, and Colonel John, knowing that the Indians had surrendered, led his 1,700 troops towards the Indian village, and the massacre started. An easy victory at hand, cannons and rifles began to pound upon the camp as the Indians scattered in panic. The frenzied soldiers began to charge, hunting down men, women, and children, shooting them unmercifully. They killed around 150 Indians that day.
What were the first native reservations and where were they located? On August 29, 1758, European colonists established the first Indian reservation in Shamong Township, New Jersey. This reservation was created for the local Lenape community, people and culture native to the Delaware River, and also called the Lenni Lenape, was called the Brotherton Reservation.
What were some of the most important native nations driven away from home, and where are they now? The Cherokee, the Creek, the Choctaw, the Seminole, and the Chickasaw. The Chickasaw territory today is in south-central Oklahoma and includes 13 counties. The Cherokee major concentration lies in the northeastern Oklahoma and includes 14 counties. The Choctaw were the first one to move to Indian Territory. They settled primarily in the western part, then in the southeast part, and finally in the northeast. The Creek were divided in two groups, the lower Creeks that settled in the Three Forks area of the Arkansas River, and the upper Creeks that lived along the North Fork, Deep Fork, and the Canadian River. The Seminole are located approximately 50 miles east of Oklahoma City.
What is the situation of most of today's reservations? Most Native Americans still live on the reservations and are considered some of the most poverty-ridden areas in the United States. Unemployment is 5 times higher than the general U.S. population. Living conditions on the reservations have been called comparable to the Third World. Depending on the reservation, 4 to 8 out of 10 adults are unemployed. This is for the lack of economic opportunities and the scarcity of jobs. The living situation in the reservations is considered inadequate. Utilities like running water, telephones, and electricity are viewed as luxuries compared to the food or transportation. The pressure of changing from a traditional way of life toward a Western lifestyle has made an impact in the health of Native Americans, creating epidemics of disease like diabetes, heart conditions, tuberculosis, and cancer. Nowadays, Native American reservations are located within the United States and are managed by a tribe that they belong to under the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs. The members of these tribes practice sovereignty in a certain way and also had different laws than areas near from them. Now, the most populated reservations nowadays are: number 1, the Navajo Nation. It's spread around Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. Nowadays, their government system is considered one of the most organized, having 3 branches. Number 2, the Osage Reservation is located in Oklahoma, but their territory extended throughout Kansas and Arkansas. Number 3, the Yamaka Reservation is located in Washington. It lies primarily in Yakima and the northern edge of Lake Kittat. A small section crosses the southeast corner of Lewis County. The largest city on the reservation is Toppenish. Number 4, the Flathead Reservation is located in Montana. Their primary economic activity is timber industry. Number 5, the Wine River Reservation located in Wyoming. In 2013, they won sovereignty when an important institution, named Environmental Protection Agency, granted environmental enforcement jurisdiction to the reservation authorities.
Are Native Americans today considered part of the U.S.? In 1924, they were granted citizenship. The Indian Citizen Act offered official citizenship to the tribes. One of the reasons was for the service
of many Native Americans in World War I. Before this, only individuals who were members of federally recognized tribes and naturalized individuals were given the rights of a United States citizen. They are self-governed and considered to be sovereign nations of people within America.
Trail of Tears, our removal. With lines unseen, the land was broken. When survivors came, we knew what the prophet had said was true. This land, with unseen lines, would be taken. So, you who live there now, don't forget to love it. Thank it, the place that was once our forest, our ponds, our mooses, the swamplands with birds and more lowly creatures. As for us, we walked into the military strength of hunger and war. For that land we still dream. As the ferry crossed the distance, or as the walkers left behind their loved ones, think how we took with us our cats and kittens, the puppies we loved. We were innocent of what we faced along the trail. We took clothing, dishes, thinking there would be something to start a new life, believing justice lived in the world, and the horses. So many, one by one stolen, taken by the many thieves. So have compassion for that land at least. Every step we took was one away from the songs, old dances, memories, some of us dark and not speaking English, some of us white or married to the dark, or children of translators that have white, all of us watched by America, all of us longing for trees, for shade, homing, rooting, even more for food along the hunger way. You would think those of us born later would fight for justice, for peace, for the new land, its trees being taken. You would think the struggle would be over between the two worlds in this place that is now our knowledge, our new belonging, our being, and we'd never again care for the notion of maps or American wars, or the God of their sky, thinking of those things we were forced to leave behind. Leaving country, a stolen home, the world measured inch by inch, mile by mile, hectares, all measurements, even the trail of our tears. With all the new fierce light, heat, drought, the missing water, you think in another red century, the old wisdom might exist if we considered enough that even before the new beliefs, we were once whole. But now our bodies remain the measured geography.